It's reversed. There we go. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So you're centered.
You're centered.
Awesome.
Okay.
Hey everybody, Ed Sanchez with the Truck Trend Network. I'm at the California Auto Museum in Sacramento, California, and they have a really special exhibit that I thought you guys would really enjoy. It's a historical exhibit on trucks from pretty much the 20s and 30s up till the present day. So we're coming to you live from NorCal, and I'm going to have the curator and one of the docents here kind of walk us through it and show the exhibit, which is running through September 9th.
September 11th.
Coming out, Carly. It's Carly Starr, the curator for the California Auto Museum.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about this exhibit, about the museum, and kind of what went into making this exhibit and how the vehicles were selected and how you got it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the California Automobile Museum is a museum that's open almost every day, all year round, and we feature cars from the earliest of times, with the invention of the car with Benz and Ford, all the way up into alternative fuel cars today. And we really focus on the average car that people would have driven. So if you came in here, hopefully you could see a car your grandfather drove or something along those lines. With the pickup truck, we really want to, again, focus on that human element. We're telling the story of people here through cars, or trucks in this case. So this exhibit focuses on the transition that trucks have gone through. In the early times, they were almost entirely utility vehicles with some personal use, where now they're much more of a personal vehicle, but also some utility use. So we're kind of showing that transition and how people use cars in this exhibit. Or trucks, sorry. All the trucks here have different themes, so we really wanted to think of how people use the trucks with those themes. So we looked at the first truck that I have right in front of me, which you'll see in a minute, is a painting truck. So you have painting stuff in the back. We looked out into our local community to see what were our ideal trucks and what kind of trucks were out there, and found the overlap. Pretty much all of these trucks are from Northern California and privately owned. There are 3 exceptions. One of them is behind me. It's obviously a California truck, California Fishing Game, but it is owned by the Department of Fish and Wildlife today still. And that comes from a fish hatchery in Southern California.
Okay. Are most or all these trucks like drivable?
Every single one of these drove into the museum.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
A lot of people use these trucks as not daily drivers, but regular drivers.
Sure. Fantastic. So we're going to walk through. They got a ton of really cool trucks here. So we're going to try and show you as much as we can. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to all of it, but we'll just kick this off with this Dodge, 1925 Dodge.
Yeah, the 1925 Dodge with partnership with Graham. And we are kind of using this one as the origin of the pickup truck, because it's not a true pickup with the screen side on the back. And it's kind of the evolution of what eventually became the pickup truck in the late 20s.
Okay, fantastic. I noticed it even has wooden spokes on the wheels.
Yeah, very common with all early vehicles. Yeah, and a lot of these early trucks that we call now in modern language aren't really truck chassis. This one was on a truck chassis, but they weren't really as big, so a lot of them had a lot of similarities with cars.
Sure. Yeah, I know there was like a Model T pickup, which was basically the car chassis with the bed in it.
Yeah, exactly. And that was an aftermarket edition usually, yeah.
So, and as time went on, they became more purpose-built.
Exactly.
To be more utilitarian.
That's actually a great transition to the Model A if we want to go and show that car off.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's, here, I'm going to get behind the camera for a second here. Yeah, because the screen is kind of square, so.
Perfect. Yeah, so I mean, this 1931 Model A, when Model A first came out in 1928, they were the first to have a factory-built pickup truck body. So a lot of times, it is considered to be the first true pickup truck produced in the United States. Yeah, so this one's set up as a dairy truck. Again, we're trying to show what people would have used this type of pickup truck for.
I know it's got an interesting hood on it. It's got a little family.
Yeah, the person who actually owns this truck, that was a birthday gift from his wife about 10 years ago. But it is a period appropriate. It actually does turn when the car is going. And it's just kind of a good example of how, even if they kept their cars generally stock, people always love customizing their trucks.
That's cool. I'm noticing this black box on the front. Does that serve any kind of utilitarian purpose, or just storage? Or
you know, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'd have to ask the owner.
I don't know if it was like a battery box or something. Tools?
Ron, come
Toolbox?
on in here real quick.
Yeah, hop on in here. So, I need you to look at the screen, Karen. Sorry, guys. We're still figuring out this Facebook Live thing, but I hope you're enjoying this. So, I know I'm having a blast. So, yeah, tell us.
Well, I think that this was used for tools, and you could just store things in here because there's not a lot of room inside these trucks. They're pretty tight inside.
Sure.
They're still a really small pickup truck, nothing like what we have today.
So with this, I mean, obviously this looks like a more modern edition.
Yes.
What trucks of the era might have had something similar?
I think a lot of times they put a box on the running board, and that's where they carried everything. Yeah, this is not something that came with the truck originally.
Okay, it looks like it's got a flugelhorn, right?
Yes,
possibly.
that's the horn.
Cool. So, and vinyl roofed out a soft top, or is that just for styling?
No, it's got wood underneath it.
Okay.
We weren't making full metal tops at this time for most vehicles because they didn't have a machine to do the compound curves.
Gotcha.
So they do. It's kind of an impregnated vinyl kind of material that goes over the top of the wood.
Okay. Interesting.
And you'll notice that on cars too. The earlier cars will have a big hole in the middle of the top where it's covered like this.
Sure. I noticed they've, for the Model A, they transitioned to metal wheels from the wood
Right,
spokes,
we went
so-
to the metal spokes, yes. The early cars, just about all of them had wood wheels.
Okay.
But they would rot and they would get loose and the maintenance was horrible on them.
So these are a lot more durable.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, we got a lot more to show you, so we're going to try and get through this as quick as we can. So, I know we're getting a lot of comments. I'm kind of running a one-man show here, so I promise I'll get to them after the video. Someone wants to see a all-around shot? Oh, we're trying, okay? Bear with us, folks. We're trying to get as much as we can here. So, Carly, this is, like you said, a painter's truck.
Yeah. So we can kind of go down the row and I'll kind of give a brief transition so
Sure.
hopefully we can get as much of the truck in it.
Cool.
So we have our 1937 Ford Deluxe. This was a pretty high-end version of a pickup truck, and this was a unique paint style that was done for showroom. So it's a pretty rare pickup truck that we have that was used as a painter truck. So it has all the original paint and lettering on it. And again, this is starting with real utility use, putting in painting equipment in the back that was appropriate for 1937.
I might add to this that the blue and silver color was put on it. They were called demonstrator trucks. So if you came into the dealership and you wanted to buy a fleet of trucks, they would let you borrow one of their trucks, and they were always this truck, the silver and the blue truck. And these are original paints on here.
So that was kind of a Ford signature color, the silver.
Just for those
silver and
trucks
blue?
only.
Okay, cool. So the sense I'm getting, I'm hearing from the comments, is you want to see more of the trucks and less of me. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have the voices of Carly and Ron and myself in the background, but we're really going to let the trucks tell the stories. So anyway, moving on.
So
All
we
right.
have our 1951 GMC. This one's set up as a ranch truck, again, very much of a utility use. And this was a very typical color that would have been used in these cars. We really wanted to get one that was this beautiful green. But it was very much a hard-working truck, and you're also getting some of the advanced design that General Motors was doing in their Chevrolet and GMC pickup trucks. That was in 1947. It was the first new design for pickups after World War II. And so it was a really, really stylish, new, modern-looking truck for the time.
Awesome. And the next one is, it looks like a Ford, right?
Yep, a 1956 Ford F100. It is, and this car is set up as a kind of a working handyman truck. And this car is actually really got a unique story to it beyond the fact that it's a cool truck. It is the original color that it was originally bought in, although it has been restored. And it's owned by the original owners still today. It's local here to Sacramento, and it's been owned in the same family ever since. Very lucky for them.
That's beautiful. And I know, I mean, among our audience, the F100s are really popular to customize. I mean, they're beautiful, you know, restored like this, but a lot of guys like to customize them and
yeah, there's
hot
so
rod them
many
a little
great.
bit.
We wanted to do lowriders, but there's so many great ones out there. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah. So this one's a Chevy.
Yep, so this is the Chevy Cameo. This is a 1957. What's really unique about this is the siding, if you can see that.
I got it on the
This is one
screen.
of 1955 when they came out with the Cameo. It was the first one to have that flush siding, and it was just fiberglass panels over the fenders. But it just made it look more streamlined, and this is the first truck that was really designed intentionally for personal use. They made it flashy, they made it fancy, and then they didn't worry about the practical use as much.
Tail lights, headlights, things like that, chrome, were more like what the automobiles had at that time. So the idea was try to borrow from the automobile side and make trucks a lot more fancy rather than just strictly work vehicles.
Sure. So in some ways, kind of a precursor to the El Camino a little bit, possibly.
Absolutely. Actually, when the Ranchero came out in '56, and Chevy kind of scrambled to catch up with that, they learned a lot from this Chevy Cameo into when they released the 1959 El Camino.
Awesome. Okay, now this.
My personal favorite truck.
This is unusual here. What is this?
This is a 1960s Studebaker Champ, but it was based on the Lark, which was Studebaker. So basically, they took right here, they cut off the Lark body on the front, so that's why it looks like a car, and put on a truck body on the back. So it's a pretty unique one. It's when Studebaker was really kind of struggling at the end, and they needed to come out with a new stylish truck. This car set up as camping because in the 1960s, a lot of people used their pickup trucks as camping vehicles. They put campers on the back. There's a lot more towing capacity now. People were going out and exploring things in the suburban post-war era.
They did change a few things. I think the grille design is a little bit different than what the Lark was, and maybe a few things like that. But it's essentially a Lark with a bed on the back.
You know, since you put so much work into this exhibit, Carly, I'm going to go around the back and show some of the work you did.
Parts of the cars
also. But as she was saying, they kind of set up these displays to show the different kinds of uses. Like on this one particular, it was set up for camping, as you can see. Cameo has looks like a bike with a little child seat on it.
Yeah, it's 50s. The child seat's actually from the 70s, but it's a 50s personal use. That's why you have the shopping cart, lawnmower. The 56 Ford is set up as the handyman kind of truck. The 51 GMC is set up as the ranch truck. Actually, one thing, if you want to look at the tailgate real quick on the GMC, it actually has the original plaque there from where it was sold here in Sacramento as well.
Oh, look at that.
Or I think it was Stockton, sorry, Stockton.
Yeah. You sometimes still see that on the newer cars. A lot of dealers will put a decal or a badge on it.
Yeah.
And then finally, we'll get the rear end of this Ford here as set up as a painter's truck. So, but anyway, it's kind of a cool,
if you want
cool different perspective.
You can see inside the bed of this truck, underneath all this construction type things, there's a really beautiful bed with the wood in there.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's the neat thing about these old trucks is the wooden beds.
And you can also then, with the Cameo on this backside, see that the styling, a lot of the cues they actually learned from making the Corvette too.
Yeah, well, especially the fiberglass too. I'm sure they learned a lot.
Awesome. Look at the tail lights on this. It's more like an automobile tail light.
Yeah, really, Cameo's, I think, one of the best looking trucks ever made.
That wraparound window on the back. Some of the Fords had them too by this time, but another sign that they wanted to make them more comfortable for people while driving the truck.
Yeah. So this is getting a little more into the modern era here. So this is early Chevy C10.
Yep, it's a 68 C10. This is the last of the utility trucks that we have within our display. Kind of that transition to more personal is done. So it's set up as a landscaping type of truck. This is one that is owned by another local owner. We know that the wheels on there are not original. Sorry about that.
No, not for our audience.
They like
a lot of them have the chrome wheels on them. So.
Well, good. Yeah. So this is one that the owner does drive a bit. It actually has headrests on it and other kind of custom things to make it more of an easygoing truck. So it definitely still drives today.
A couple of other things about this truck. This whole series of trucks over several years, you could get a long bed or a short bed, but you could also get a big block 396, or depending on the year, it would have been a 400. So you could get a lot of power behind it too.
Now, one thing I find kind of interesting is not a lot of people realize this, because you think big block, you think displacement.
Yeah.
the 400 was actually a small block and the 396 was actually a big block.
Well, but
right?
no,
No?
there was a 400 small block, but they made a 400 big block. It was the 396, but I'm not sure if they changed the stroke a little bit or the bore. Well, the bore was probably the same. They
Sure.
changed the stroke a little bit.
Okay, cool. And then, okay, we getting into some imports. For our audience, some love them, some hate them, but
That's always how it is.
Yeah, but
So, yeah, this is the 74 Toyota Hilux. You can't talk about American truck history and how trucks became so popular without talking about these little trucks. With the Datsun particularly first, and then the Toyota also. They were just used by so many, whether it was working
Sure.
as a landscaping truck or for someone taking their Schwinn bicycles over. And we have
Sure.
8 tracks in here, you know, really trying
Oh,
to capture
awesome.
the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this truck actually is another one that does not come from a local owner. This one comes from the Toyota Museum in Torrance.
Torrance, yeah, that's down by us in
So it's
SoCal.
100% original
Yeah.
truck, very low mileage.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, I'm already getting comments on the Little Red Wagon.
Yes,
People,
I know it's the one that everybody's probably been
Little Red
waiting
Express.
for.
Everyone's like, "Oh, show me the Dodge, show me the Dodge." So
Yeah, our 78 Little Red Express. We're very happy to have a 78 as opposed to the 79 because it is that much more powerful car. I'm sure plenty of you know about how the workaround and the emission laws that they were able to make this muscle car, and that it was at the time of production the fastest car in the United States that year, faster than the Corvette or anything else.
360 cubic inch engine.
now there's another one. This is obviously has the most notoriety, and everyone knows about the Little Red Express. There's also one called the Warlock, which was similar. It was black, and I think that one might have had a bigger engine or something, but it's more rare than the.
I'm not even familiar.
No.
I heard of it when
Yeah.
and I know that Dodge was really into this adult toys line, and that was really
they
what
kinda
they were
still are,
featuring.
but-
Yeah, but this was the 70s
Yeah.
was kind of the beginning of it. So I think the Warlock was part of that.
This is a really low mileage truck.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'll go look.
Well, it looks fantastic.
What, 16?
And it runs great still. Can you bring the tripod over if people want to get a little closer?
Oh yeah, already people are saying, "I want to see the inside." So, are you popping the hood?
No, it's,
Oh, okay. I can bring it.
it's got just under 17,000 miles.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah, I don't have permission from the owner to pop the hood. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
So sorry.
But I know one of the coolest features on this, it was kind of really its signature look, were those exhaust stacks. They were kind of, I guess, kind of supposed to emulate like a big rig, but it was really.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you can't do the Little Red Express without the stacks on it. That's just kind of part of the look. So,
Yeah, and they didn't make a whole lot of them either.
yeah.
So in the last two, we'll go really brief on the modern trucks
Sure,
unless
sure.
you guys want more,
All right.
and then we'll go on to the back.
Well, I know already people saw the Lightning and they're getting all excited.
Oh,
so
yeah.
this was, I think, for our crowd, one of their favorites because, you know, hot rod trucks. This is probably, at least in the modern era, probably, I think, the definitive hot rod truck.
And that's
So,
exactly why we chose it. It's a 2000 Lightning, and we really wanted to tell that story of, again, trucks are much more personal. This was a sports car. It was better than sports cars, and it was a truck. So you kind of got
Yeah.
a really cool looking body with an awesome driving vehicle.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it just great car.
yeah,
Truck. Sorry.
yeah. And then finally, we're into the present day with the new F-150. And even though what's kind of interesting is, you know, you look at trucks today that are currently on sale, and you don't think of them from a historical context. But I think this one is very historical in the fact that it's the first truck with an all aluminum body,
Yes.
which
Absolutely.
is a huge.
That was a huge reason
Development
why
in
we
the
chose
industry.
it. Naturally, the other reason why we chose the 150 over other Dodge or Chrysler products, General Motors products, was because the F-150 is such a great selling vehicle of all time. I mean,
Sure.
we are a car museum, and this has outsold many cars. So I think
This is the best-selling vehicle
for the last 25 years. Or
37.
something? 37. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, even more than I realized.
But
Yeah.
but another interesting thing is this is a full transition from a working truck to a personal
Oh yeah.
vehicle.
And I mean, the price, a fully loaded F-150 is, I think, about $65,000.
Yeah.
That's a luxury car.
Yeah.
And really, you look in the interiors.
Well, that's
I
what
mean,
it is.
it is a luxury
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
So
They got everything you can want out of a modern car.
And then finally, I noticed this little beauty over here.
Yeah, so this is actually part of our car sales department. We have, we're a licensed dealer in California, and so we have cars on consignment or cars that were donated to us that we decided to sell. And so this is one of those, this F100 here.
Okay, so this is for sale? If
This
someone
is for sale.
wanted to pay $44,865?
Yep, they can contact Mark Woodward in our car sales department and make an offer.
All right. The irony is this is cheaper probably than that F-150, so.
Oh yeah, or about the same, yeah.
Or about the same. I'd say it's probably a little less, because. So we'll get a rear end view of these newer trucks here. So yeah, this probably a pretty common use for these now. Going to Home Depot. This one, like they say, business in the front, party in the back, right?
Yeah, we figured that most, if they're going to take it anywhere besides on the streets and driving it, they might take it to an SCCA race or something along those lines. So they're watching the race.
Sure, they got your you got your cooler and your chairs and a boombox. This one, I think you just kind of wanted to show the workmanship on. Now
you're not going to do anything but drive this car for fun, so
no,
we're not going to put anything in the back of it.
Now,
we did put a speed limit sign for a little bit of fun.
I don't know if either of you know this. Was the woodwork? I don't know if that's like the vinyl applique or if that's actual wood, but I mean, was that an aftermarket edition or is that how it came?
That's actual wood, and that's how it came. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this car is 100% stock. Like I said, less than 17,000 miles on it.
That just blows my mind.
Yeah.
I just actually.
And it's a local owner here in the Sacramento area.
Actually, just Wednesday, I actually purchased 2004 Avalanche, and that had 163,000 miles on it. But it was actually really clean for what it was. So, of course, here's the back of the Toyota with the bikes, and then the 8-tracks. Don't forget the 8-tracks. And then, of course, the C10 with looks like got a lawnmower and a pool skimmer.
Yeah, this is our landscaping kind of truck. The last of the utility, because that transitions really towards the end here.
Awesome. So why don't we end up here? We'll do with the little marquee here. So
sorry, no trucks in the picture.
No. Well, you know what? Let's give the people what they want here. So, you know what? I'm going to go to the front and give like an overview of all the trucks here. If you guys are in Northern California or plan on coming up here through September, right?
September 11th.
Through September 11th. This is how long this exhibit is going to be here. Hold on, guys. I see the angry faces. Give me a second here. Coming around.
Yeah, and we're open every day except Tuesdays. Our website is calautomuseum.org.
Okay.
Cal is in California, so nice and easy. You can find out all the information about these trucks there.
So I'm going to give you a full overview of the exhibit here. So there's the Ford paint truck. You'd see the Chevy, the more Fords, the Cameo, Studebaker, Model A, and then here's the newer trucks.
Does anybody else up there like the Studebaker, or is it just me?
Oh, I think it's probably got some fans out there. We got.
I'd like to add that we have other trucks in our museum. For example, we have a 36 Dodge Ram pickup that's been totally restored.
Fantastic.
So you don't see, and it's got the Ram on the hood too, and the Dodge insignia on the front. Art Deco.
Yeah. So now, what's your guys' admission here?
For admission is $9 for adults, and then it goes down from there.
Okay, so just depending on the kid's age.
Yeah, kids, military, seniors, and then we have Memorial Day. Every veteran or active duty gets in free. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, I know this isn't a Hollywood quality video, but that's just kind of the nature of Facebook Live. But I mean, it's a fantastic exhibit. So if you're in the area, like I said, this will be on display through September 11th. And the website, once again, is calautomuseum.org.
Correct.
And I just flew in here, probably like 10 minutes from the airport. It seems like pretty close. A little bit off the beaten path if you don't know where it is, but Google it. You know, you can find it. So anyway, So I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, if you're going to be up in this area through September 11th, check it out, calautomuseum.org. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Also, I'm going to take some still shots, and we'll be doing a full web feature on this next week. So anyway, thanks again for watching.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.